Environmental certifications. You've probably seen some of these or heard of some of these out there when you're looking at different products. For example, up in the upper right is a Rainforest Alliance certified. This is just one third-party certification that's out there. So suppliers will strive to achieve some of these certifications because it shows the buyer that they are serious. So we have the ISO 14001. So this is a group of standards that guides companies on how to structure their processes to minimize harmful environmental effects. So if you were to pull this up, it's several pages long, and you can learn how the International Standards Organization recommends or will certify a company if they meet these criteria. It is a voluntary program, so companies are not required to obtain these certifications. However, you as a buyer can use this as a criteria when you are sourcing your materials. You can say, I want the company to be ISO 14001 certified. And it could be as simple as that. Or you can say, I want it to be Eco Management and Audit Scheme certified. Well, the EMAS is a European commission to help companies evaluate, report, and improve their environmental performance. This certification is more strict than the ISO 14001. So let me say it again. This one is more strict than the ISO 14001. So this one could be your gold standard. You want people to have this one, perhaps. This one now, it's a European commission. So outside of Europe, there might be companies who can't get this certification because they're not in Europe. So take that into account. But if they are in Europe, you might want to look at it and see, do they have this certification? And then the FSC is the Forest Stewardship Council, and they're promoting sustainable management of the world's forests. So if we can be sustainable with our forests, that will be one way we can make sure that they're here for years to come and that they provide for our future generations. So companies go to these third parties to get certified in these areas. Just as you might see organic or USDA organic or any of the other certifications, or kosher or halal or any of the other ones that you might see on food, these are for companies. And now when you're considering the environmental impact of your supplier, as a buyer, you can assess them using a scorecard. And you can keep track, keep records. And then you have a footprint calculator. So you can look at, let's say, the carbon footprint, and knowing that, okay, this truck that we're looking to source has this much fuel that it carries, and it produces this much carbon per gallon of diesel. Well, you can find out how much a gallon of diesel produces. And you can ask the company that's made the truck, to ask them, what's the carbon impact or carbon footprint of this engine? Because newer engines have better combustion. So the standard that's out there for doing some rough calculations of carbon footprints when you do a gallon of diesel, those numbers might be higher than what that engine actually does. So the new engine might have a lower footprint. Knowing these kind of things will help you out greatly when you're trying to assess and evaluate environmental certifications. So take a look at these when you're sourcing. And you can use them as a criteria for what you're sourcing or not. It could be something that's nice to have. You might be so desperate for the product you don't even care if they have a certification, you just want the material. You know, the situation will dictate, and your company's strategic goals will also further dictate if you need to source from these kind of companies. So that was topic 4. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope it brought a new light to doing the sustainable sourcing, because it's not just environment, it's more. It's the legal side, it's the social side, it's so many different aspects that we need to consider so we can have a sustainable sourcing process. Well, I look forward to talking to you in our next topic.